All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into Sweden's big plan to become a leader in the AI revolution.
Yeah.
They put together this report called Third Plan for Sverige by their AI commission, and it's really interesting stuff. It's making some waves because they actually released it early.
Yeah, I saw that.
Seems like
Interesting.
the AI world is moving pretty fast, and Sweden is definitely trying to play catch up.
It's true. Yeah, there's a sense of urgency in this report.
Yeah.
That you don't often see in, government documents. It's
Right.
like they realized, hey, we're kind of behind in this global AI race, and we need to step it up, now.
They didn't mince words either.
No.
The report basically says Sweden is lagging behind. And they even cited the 2024 Global AI Index,
Right.
where Sweden ranks 17th overall.
Yeah.
But it's not all doom and gloom, right? There are some areas where Sweden really shines.
Right. For example, they are 5th in the world for operational environment, which means they've got a solid foundation. Things like digital infrastructure and generally AI-friendly regulatory environment.
Mm-hmm.
But, and there's a big but, they're 57th in political steering.
Okay, so what does that even mean? Like, not enough politicians tweeting about AI or...
Not quite. No, it basically means there's a lack of clear national direction and strategy when it comes to AI. Think of it this way. You could have all the best ingredients for a fantastic meal.
Right.
But without a recipe and a skilled chef, you're going to end up with a mess.
Okay, so Sweden has the potential, but needs someone to kind of take charge and guide the process.
Yeah.
And that's where this roadmap comes in. It's like their master plan for AI domination.
Exactly. And they're putting their money where their mouth is. The report outlines 75 proposals.
Wow.
And 28 of those have specific cost estimates attached.
Okay.
Totaling around 12 billion Swedish krona.
Wow.
Over 5 years.
Okay.
Rising to 17 billion over a decade.
Wow, those are some serious numbers.
Yeah.
So where are they focusing all of this investment? What are the big ticket items?
So the report highlights 3 main areas. First, cutting-edge research. They want to create what they're calling collaborative excellence centers.
Okay.
That attract top AI talent from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as building this global AI brain trust right there in Sweden.
That's ambitious.
Yeah.
What's the second one?
The second one is integrating AI into the public sector.
Okay.
They envision a fully digitized public sector where AI streamlines everything from healthcare to transportation to social services.
Wow.
The goal is to make interacting with the government as seamless and efficient as possible.
Oh, man, that sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah.
No more endless paperwork and confusing websites.
Exactly.
But what about the average person?
All right.
How are they going to keep up with all of this AI advancement?
Well, that brings us to the third area, which is nationwide skills development. The report talks about creating an AI hub.
Okay.
Like a central resource offering free tools, courses, information about AI.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to give everyone in Sweden, regardless of their background, a basic understanding of AI and its implications.
So it's not just about creating, like, a bunch of AI specialists. It's
Right.
about making sure everyone in Sweden is what? AI literate.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
But let's be real. AI needs fuel, and that fuel is data.
Of course. Yeah.
And the report is pretty clear about that.
Absolutely. The report emphasizes accessible, high-quality data.
Yeah.
But what's even more interesting is their focus on data sharing.
Okay.
They see it as key to unlocking AI's full potential.
Data sharing can be kind of a sensitive topic, though, right? Lots of privacy concerns.
Of course. And the report acknowledges that.
Mm-hmm.
They propose a balanced approach.
Okay.
So, making it easier to share data
Right.
while simultaneously strengthening data protection measures.
Mm-hmm.
They even suggest exploring a reverse OSL,
Okay.
which would be like a reciprocal data sharing agreement between government agencies.
So like a secure data swap meet for the government.
Exactly, yeah.
That's interesting. But with all this focus on the positive potential of AI,
Right.
does the report address any potential risks?
Yeah.
Especially in today's world where cybersecurity is such a big deal.
Yeah, and they do. The report specifically tackles the use of AI in a heightened global security environment. It's not just about defending against cyber attacks,
Right.
but also how AI can be used to proactively bolster Sweden's security.
So AI can be both a shield and a sword.
Yes.
In the world of cybersecurity.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And to make sure they are prepared,
Mm-hmm.
They propose strengthening Cyber Campus Swedish, which is their national cybersecurity center, and even creating a brand new security institute.
Interesting.
Specifically dedicated to AI ethics, research, and international collaboration.
Okay, so they're really trying to cover all their bases.
Yeah.
They want to be on the cutting edge of AI development.
Right.
But they also want to make sure it's used responsibly and ethically. But let's face it, for a lot of people, the big worry with AI is what it'll do to jobs.
Definitely a valid concern.
Yeah.
And the report doesn't shy away from that.
Okay.
They acknowledge that AI will disrupt the job market, creating new jobs while making others obsolete.
Right.
Their solution? Effective retraining programs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But retraining an entire workforce for the AI age sounds like a massive undertaking. Do they think they can actually pull it off?
They seem confident.
Okay.
They point to Sweden's history of successfully navigating shifts in the job market. They've got strong social safety nets and a culture of lifelong learning that are already deeply ingrained in Swedish society. So they believe they have the foundation to manage this AI tool and transition.
It sounds like they're really trying to create a sustainable AI ecosystem.
Yeah.
Where everyone benefits, not just the tech giants.
That's the idea. And that brings us to the role of businesses in all of this.
Right.
Large companies are already using AI, of course. But what about the smaller ones?
Right, because you can't have an AI revolution without including the small and medium-sized enterprises. They're the backbone of the economy.
Exactly, and the report recognizes that. They talk about the AI factory concept, which aims to support SMEs in adopting AI. It's about making sure that everyone, not just the big corporations, has a chance to be a part of this new technological era.
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying we want everyone to come along for this AI ride.
Precisely. And it's not just about businesses either.
Yeah.
The report outlines an ambitious goal for Sweden's entire public sector to effectively utilize AI. Think AI-powered hospitals, schools, government agencies, the whole 9 yards.
So they are really going all in on AI. It sounds like a truly transformative vision.
Yeah.
But how do they plan to actually make all of this happen? Who's going to be in charge of this AI overhaul?
Well, the report specifically mentions
the
Swedish Agency for Digital Government, or DGG, and the Swedish Financial Management Authority, ESV. They would play key roles in building a shared AI infrastructure for the government, providing guidance and supporting other agencies as they connect to these new systems.
So they're creating a centralized AI hub for the government.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a pretty bold move. But it sounds like they're also trying to be careful about how they implement all of this. Remember those regulatory sandboxes we talked about earlier? They're mentioned again in this context.
Right, they're proposing to use regulatory sandboxes within the public sector as well. It's a way for government agencies to safely experiment with new AI applications without the risk of major unintended consequences.
So like a controlled environment where they can play around with AI?
Exactly, yeah.
And see how it works in practice before rolling it out on a large scale.
Exactly. It's a smart approach to managing the risks that come with adopting any new technology.
Right.
Especially one as powerful as AI.
This is all fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But Sweden isn't operating in a vacuum, right?
No.
They're part of a larger global landscape when it comes to AI.
Of course.
What does the report say about Sweden's role in the international AI community?
They are very clear about that. The report stresses the importance of Sweden increasing its engagement within the European Union regarding AI. They want to leverage their influence to shape regulations and avoid premature or overly restrictive rules that could stifle innovation.
So they're trying to walk that fine line
Yeah.
between fostering innovation and making sure AI is developed ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. And they also see the EU as a source of funding for AI projects. It's clear they want to be actively involved in shaping the global AI landscape. Not just observing from the sidelines.
Well, one thing's for sure. They're not wasting any time.
No.
This report is a call to action.
Yeah.
They're not just talking about AI.
Right.
They're ready to hit the ground running.
Absolutely. The report is filled with phrases like no time to waste and danger in delay.
Right.
They're sending a clear message. The AI train is leaving the station.
Yeah.
And Sweden is determined to be on board.
And they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yes.
They're demanding a swift decision on the AI strategy, the immediate formation of a task force, and a clear timeline for implementing the remaining proposals. They're not messing around.
Nope.
It sounds like they're treating this as a national priority.
Yeah.
They see AI as a defining technology of the 21st century.
And they're determined to make sure Sweden is a leader, not a follower.
Exactly.
Okay, we covered a lot of ground. Let's take a moment to just, digest all of this, and then come back to unpack some of these specific proposals in more detail. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
Right.
There's a lot to unpack, and some of these proposals are pretty intriguing. I'm especially interested in how they plan to address the energy demands of a more AI-powered society.
Great. We'll dig into that and more when we return for part 2 of our deep dive into Sweden's AI roadmap.
So we laid out Sweden's grand vision for AI.
Right.
But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Remember we were talking about how they need to play catch-up?
Right.
Well, that's especially true when it comes to the infrastructure. That's going to power all this AI development.
Right, because you can't build a digital utopia on a foundation of outdated technology.
Exactly.
So what are some of the specific challenges they highlight in the report?
One of the big ones is energy.
The report acknowledges that even though Sweden has an advantage with its abundance of fossil-free electricity, they'll need to significantly ramp up their energy production to meet the growing demands of a more AI-powered society. Think data centers, high-performance computing, all those energy-hungry components of the AI ecosystem.
It's like building a bigger engine for a faster car.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not just about raw power, is it? What about connectivity?
That's another key area where Sweden needs to step up its game. The report specifically mentions the need to accelerate the rollout of 5G networks. Without fast, reliable, and widespread 5G coverage, AI applications, especially those that rely on real-time data processing, will struggle to reach their full potential.
It's like having a state-of-the-art computer, but like a really sluggish internet connection.
Exactly.
You're not going to get the performance that you need.
Right.
But speaking of performance, what about the small and medium-sized businesses?
Right.
We talked about the AI factory concept. Can you elaborate on how that would actually help them?
Sure. So the AI factory is designed to be kind of a one-stop shop for SMEs looking to adopt AI. Think of it as a shared resource pool where SMEs can access computing power, expertise, and even funding that they might not have on their own. The goal is to make sure they're not left behind in the AI revolution. Just because they don't have the resources of a big tech company.
It's like a co-working space for AI, but instead of desks and coffee, they're sharing algorithms and data sets.
Exactly, yeah.
Pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
So now let's go back to that like essential ingredient for AI data. The report is big on data sharing, but how do they plan to address those very real concerns people have about privacy and security?
It's a delicate balance, for sure. On the one hand, they want to make it easier to share data, recognizing that it's essential for AI development. On the other hand, they're aware that they need to maintain public trust and protect sensitive information. So they're suggesting kind of a multi-pronged approach.
Like what? Give me some specifics.
Okay, well, they talk about streamlining regulations around data sharing. Making it clearer and less bureaucratic for organizations to share data in a responsible way. But they also emphasize the importance of strengthening data protection measures. So it's not just about making it easier to share. It's about making sure that when data is shared, it's done securely and ethically.
It sounds like they're trying to thread the needle, finding that sweet spot where innovation can flourish without sacrificing privacy. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the security implications of AI. How does Sweden plan to defend itself against AI-powered threats, both from other nations and potentially malicious actors?
This is where the report gets really interesting. They acknowledge that AI is a double-edged sword when it comes to security. It can be used to create powerful new weapons. But it can also be the best defense against those same weapons.
So it's like this high-tech arms race, but with algorithms and data sets instead of missiles and tanks.
Exactly. And to stay ahead in this race, the report proposes a couple concrete steps. First, they want to bolster Cyber Campus Swedish, which is their national center for cybersecurity expertise.
Right.
They see it as a crucial hub for developing and sharing knowledge about AI-related security threats.
Okay.
Second, they want to create a brand new security institute.
Interesting.
Dedicated specifically to AI.
What would this new institute actually do? What would be its main focus?
So think of it as a think tank, research center, and training ground all rolled into one. It would focus on 3 key areas: AI ethics, AI research, and international collaboration.
Okay.
The goal is to make Sweden a leader in thinking about and responding to the security challenges posed by AI, both domestically and on the global stage.
Okay, so they're really investing in the brain power needed to navigate this complex new world of AI security.
Right.
But let's switch gears again and talk about talent.
Okay.
The report emphasizes the need to cultivate world-class AI expertise within Sweden. How do they plan to do that?
So they've got a multifaceted strategy for building a strong AI talent pool.
Okay.
First, they want to attract top researchers from around the world by creating these collaborative excellence centers that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
These centers would be hubs for cutting-edge AI research, drawing in the best and brightest minds to work on challenging problems.
It's like building an AI dream team, you know, bringing together the top players in the field to kind of push the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly. But they also recognize that they need to develop homegrown talent as well.
Right.
So they're proposing a range of initiatives to strengthen AI education at all levels, from primary school all the way up to postgraduate studies.
So they're thinking long term.
Yeah.
Building a pipeline of AI talent for the future. But it's not just about those elite researchers, right? They also want to make sure that everyone in Sweden benefits from AI, not just the specialists. How do they plan to achieve that?
So they're aiming for what they call the highest minimum level of AI understanding nationwide.
Oh.
In other words, they want to make sure that even those who aren't directly working in AI have at least a basic grasp of what it is, how it works, and its potential impact on society.
It's like they're saying we don't want anyone to be left behind.
Exactly.
In the AI era.
Exactly. And to achieve this, they're proposing a combination of initiatives. We've already talked about the AI Hub.
Right.
Which would provide free access to AI tools, courses, information.
Right.
They're also calling for more AI education in schools and universities, even for those not pursuing technical degrees. They want to equip everyone with the basic AI literacy they need to navigate this rapidly evolving world.
It's like making sure everyone can read and write in the age of AI.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But let's be honest, one of the biggest anxieties people have about AI is its potential impact on jobs.
Of course.
And the report acknowledges that some jobs will disappear, others will be transformed, and new ones will emerge. So how do they plan to manage this inevitable disruption in the job market?
They emphasize the need for effective retraining programs.
Okay.
And they believe that Sweden is uniquely well-positioned to handle this transition.
Why is that? What gives them that confidence?
Well, they've got a robust social safety net and a culture of lifelong learning that are already deeply ingrained in Swedish society.
Right.
So they're not starting from scratch.
Right.
They've got a strong foundation to build on.
So they're not just focused on developing the technology, they're thinking about the societal impact and how to ensure a smooth transition for everyone. That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah. And they're not just thinking about the workers, they're thinking about the businesses too.
Right.
Remember we talked about how large companies are already investing heavily in AI. But what about those small and medium-sized enterprises?
Right. Can they keep up?
Exactly. That's the question. And SMEs often lack the resources and expertise of larger corporations.
Yeah.
So how does the report address their unique challenges?
Yeah.
They propose a variety of targeted support measures, specifically designed to help SMEs adopt AI.
Okay.
These include things like providing access to shared computing resources, offering legal guidance on navigating AI regulations, and creating funding opportunities specifically for AI-driven startups.
So it's about leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
Giving SMEs the tools they need to compete.
Exactly.
In an AI era.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the private sector, right? The report also lays out an ambitious plan for the entire Swedish public sector to effectively utilize AI.
That's right. They envision a future where AI is seamlessly integrated into every aspect of government.
Okay, that sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
But how would that actually work in practice? Give me some concrete examples.
Well, imagine a healthcare system where AI helps doctors diagnose diseases more accurately and efficiently.
Right.
Or an education system where AI personalizes learning experiences for each student, adapting to their individual needs and strengths.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. But who would be in charge of overseeing all this?
Right.
It sounds like a massive undertaking.
So the report assigns key roles to two government agencies, the Swedish Agency for Digital Government, DIGG, and the Swedish Financial Management Authority, ESV.
Mm-hmm.
They would be responsible for building a shared AI infrastructure,
right,
providing guidance to other agencies, and supporting them as they connect to these new systems.
So they are creating a centralized AI hub for the government.
Exactly.
That's a pretty bold move, but it sounds like they're also trying to be careful about how they implement all this. Remember those regulatory sandboxes we talked about earlier?
Of course, yes.
They're mentioned again in this context.
Right. They're proposing to use regulatory sandboxes within the public sector as well.
Okay.
It's a way for government agencies to safely experiment with new AI applications without the risk of major unintended consequences.
So like a controlled environment where they can play around with AI and see how it works in practice.
Exactly.
Before rolling it out on a large scale.
Precisely. It's a smart approach to managing the risks that come with adopting any new technology.
Right.
Especially one as powerful as AI. But let's zoom out for a moment and talk about Sweden's place in the global AI landscape. They're not trying to go it alone, are they?
Right, they're not. They're actively looking for partnerships and collaboration, especially within the European Union.
Absolutely. And the report emphasizes the importance of Sweden increasing its engagement within the European Union when it comes to AI.
Okay.
They want to leverage their influence to shape regulations and avoid premature or overly restrictive rules that could stifle innovation.
So they're trying to strike that balance between fostering innovation and making sure AI is used for good.
Exactly. They see the EU as a key partner in ensuring that AI is developed ethically and responsibly, not just in Sweden, but across Europe.
Well, at the end of the day, this report is just a roadmap, right? What happens next? How does Sweden actually turn these ambitious plans into reality?
That's the million krona question. The report itself is a call to action. They're urging the government to make a swift decision on the AI strategy, form a dedicated task force to oversee implementation, and set a clear timeline for putting these proposals into action.
Okay, so it sounds like they're treating this as a top priority.
Yeah.
They realize the AI train is leaving the station and they don't want to get left behind.
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
Let's pause here for a moment and then come back to wrap things up.
Okay.
We'll consider some of the broader implications of Sweden's AI roadmap.
Sounds good to me. There's still a lot to discuss, especially about how Sweden's approach to AI might influence other countries as they navigate this new technological frontier.
Okay, so we've explored a lot about Sweden's AI strategy, from their ambitious research goals to their plans for retraining the workforce. But one thing that keeps coming up is their focus on the public sector. It's not just about digitizing services, it's about really integrating AI into how the government actually functions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a really comprehensive approach, you know. The report highlights the roles of DGG and ESV, those two key agencies we talked about, in building the infrastructure for AI within the government. But what's really interesting to me is that they're not just saying, here's the tech, go figure it out.
Right.
They're providing guidance and support to make sure that all agencies can actually use these tools effectively.
Yeah, it's like they're creating this AI support system for their own government.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's not just about throwing technology at the problem either. They're really thinking about the human side of things, too.
Absolutely. Remember those regulatory sandboxes we've been talking about?
Oh, yeah, right.
That's a perfect example of that thoughtful approach.
Right.
By creating these controlled environments, they're letting agencies experiment with AI applications to see what works, what doesn't, without the risk of major disruptions to essential services.
It's like a safety net for innovation.
Exactly, yeah.
So they can test out these new AI tools and make sure that they're actually beneficial before rolling them out on a larger scale.
Yeah, it's a really smart way to balance the need for progress with the need for stability. It's not just about being the first to adopt AI. It's about being thoughtful and responsible.
Right.
In how they actually implement it.
And that kind of brings us to another important point. Sweden's place in the global AI landscape.
Yeah.
They're not trying to isolate themselves. They're actively looking for partnerships and collaboration.
Right.
Especially within the European Union.
Right.
They really emphasize that in the report.
They did. The report really emphasizes the importance of working with the EU to shape regulations and standards around AI.
Right.
Sweden wants to ensure that AI is developed ethically and responsibly. Mm-hmm. Not just within their own borders,
right,
but on a much broader scale.
It's like they're saying, we can't do this alone. We need to work together to get this right.
Exactly.
And it makes sense, right? AI is a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
So it requires a global approach.
Absolutely. No single country can kind of dictate the future of AI. It's going to take collaboration and dialogue and a shared commitment to ethical development.
Well, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. It's clear that Sweden is taking AI seriously, and they're not just talking about it, they're taking concrete steps to make their vision a reality.
Yeah, it's a bold vision. I mean, they're not just trying to keep up with the AI revolution, they want to be a leader in it.
And they're not wasting any time. This report isn't just a set of recommendations, it's a call to action. They're urging the government to move quickly and decisively to implement these proposals. But I think what's most impressive to me is that they're not just focused on the technology itself. They're really thinking about the bigger picture.
You're right. Yeah. They're thinking about the ethical implications, the impact on the workforce, the need for international collaboration, all those crucial aspects that will ultimately determine whether AI benefits society as a whole or not.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach, which is really refreshing to see. You know, it's not just about building the coolest AI gadgets. It's about using this technology to create a better future for everyone.
Exactly. And that raises an interesting question maybe for our listeners.
Yeah.
You know, Sweden is proposing some pretty innovative ideas like those reciprocal data sharing agreements between government agencies.
Right.
Now, if they can pull it off, how might that impact the way other countries approach data governance in the age of AI? It's something to think about as we all try to grapple with the challenges and opportunities of this rapidly evolving technological landscape.
That is a great point to end on. We've only scratched the surface of Sweden's AI journey, but it's clear they're embarking on an ambitious and potentially transformative path, and we'll be watching closely to see how it all unfolds. For now, we encourage you to dive into the full report, Third Plan for Sverige, and join the conversation about the future of AI in Sweden and beyond. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions.